You've been dancing.
Since they've been picking up the Akaye, the Claudes, and the Yuzhongs, specifically for this draft, they brought out all the surprises towards the latter portions of it.
Yeah.
And it's been a while since we've seen that jumbo hard guard together with the Black Dragon form combination, which we will likely be seeing later on.
Whoa.
But for now, what we're seeing is the first blood going into the hands of ONIC Philippines. That's going to be Camus immediately taken down. And it seems like they still want to go for Lucy, but they take, or she takes out the possibility of getting stunned with a Fury 5, but not even that. Okay, my mic got displaced. Okay.
It got displaced. ONIC Indonesia is on a roll already, 2-0. And, you know, this is a thing, man. Like, with ONIC, they're still going.
They do not want to stop. How will not get punished for that, okay? So, as you were saying, this is exactly why the casters mentioned. However, ONIC is trying to play is not that different from Team Vitality. And another quick rotation coming in from Levy. Oh my goodness.
This is a whole lot of action, Brigitte, that we're not used to seeing this. Like, I mean, maybe that first blood under the minute that we saw earlier on, but this is already a total of 4 kills going on. Sev?
Now it's Angelus that they're trying to go after, but Sev, okay, will be somehow able to keep herself safe and will get that level 4 as well. So it's been a very aggressive first few minutes for ONIC.
Every single time that we get a new like camera angle, I feel like something is happening.
I guess this is why like our panelists have been putting so much emphasis on ONIC and their river control.
Yeah.
Because look at how in control they are based on how they're playing out their mid rotations, and this is gonna be so much trouble for DreamMax girls because you wanna put so much of your resources, so much of your attention to Blaze Kitty, but how are you gonna do just that? Your XP lane, your mid lane, they're just so pressured right now.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure going around. That's a really clean turtle take too, just with everything that happened, you know, the past couple minutes, allowing ONIC to go ahead and do that. So it's a lot of aggression early on. I mean, a Feathered Airstrike being dropped down, I feel like, you know, for just this mid lane, a lot of the focus has been there.
Yeah.
And then look how fast they rotate down to put pressure here against Blaze Kitty.
Okay, there's no Feathered Airstrike, however, but this is going to be enough to provide some space for Yippee and Sev to get some energy shields, but it seems like there's a plan coming in from Angelus. They won't go for the commit. However, there's still the threat of ONIC fighting back anyway, so they probably want to respect that for now.
I think for DreamMax girls, one of the big things is, again, playing around Lucy here. Lucy just got the level 4, so she's got the Heart Guard ultimate now available to her. She could actually help with either, you know, easing some of that pressure or that aggression that's come out from ONIC earlier on, or possibly to set things up, especially when you have when Day is on this Yuzhong, like you mentioned earlier. It's been a while. Oh no, Day?
And speaking of Day.
I'm sorry, Day. As soon as I mentioned it, you're gone.
We didn't even see the Black Dragon form in action just yet, because even for the first objective, it was just a clean take from ONIC. So now they're clearly showing us that this is the kind of play style that they want to go after, even if it's a somehow unconventional in the current meta type of goal lane that we're seeing. They're just making it work based by looking at their mid rotation.
Yeah, you see this pressure still being put on this side of the jungle for DreamMax girls, and really having to do work to secure it for Angelus, you know, to get this purple buff even. But as you mentioned, it's the gold lanes are pretty much at a standstill because there's been so much pressure on the other sides of the map. You know, Yippie's just been able to farm up. They're going to contest this, though.
Oh, a well-timed knock-up coming in from Pau. Now that denies the contest coming in from DreamMax Girls, but the blazing duets from Yippee will be able to take down Camus. DreamMax Girls, however, they're fighting back. They took down Livy and Poe, and now it might be Napilera next. But that seems to be the end of the duration of the Black Dragon form. However, Day still wants to go for it. Blaze Kitty supplying the free hits, but that might not be enough. And DreamMax Girls have to disengage.
Oh, that's too bad. Again, I'm surprised they continued on. Maybe they should have just got what they had and backed off. But, you know, nonetheless, a trade for both sides. But Yippee still using that blazing duet. I mean, it's been a while since we've seen a Claude really in action competitively.
Ouch.
But they can see they want to focus down this tier 1 turret. That's going to be the focus for ONIC. And they'll get that. So again, second turret of the game, second turret going down. Now that top and that bottom are clear. They'll make their way up to the mid lane now to focus on that. So DreamMax girls, where can they turn this around already as we get into these mid games here? We're going to see the instant replay of this. This was a fight once again that was initiated. Pao jumps in, uses a tsunami slam. It gets focused. The heart guard and the Yuzhong combination we were talking about before is so good. Great petrify down here too to stop some of that feathered airstrike from Livy. But again, they do eventually re-engage. So that combination with the heart guard and the Yuzhong is always going to be something that they can use for DreamMax girls. But a lot of it again is the timing on it.
Yeah, and like, who do they decide to go for? I think it's pretty much a given that you want to go after Livy, but what happened in that exact team fight was the plan B we could expect from ONIC, which is again, Yippee is still deciding to go in, dishing out the damage towards the members of DreamMax girls. So ONIC have a very good way of splitting DreamMax girls up, even though they want to make it work or they want to revolve around the Yuzhong and the Black Dragon form and engage us later on.
So with that, last turtle of the game, just going to go in the hands of ONIC. So 3 for 3 here objectively, securing everything they need. So DreamMax girls will let that go through. I'm wondering if they're going to be in a position to actually... Oh, he just gets out of there, by the way. But if DreamMax girls will actually just... kind of focus on the Lord to come up here. Will they be in a position to actually contest it? As we take a look at the items here, you're already seeing the disparity between some of the crucial lanes differences, especially, you know, Seb has a good 2,000 gold against Angelus here. Oh, Days in trouble.
That's another pick-off from ONIC. And going back to what you mentioned, I think it's still not going to be easy for DreamMax girls, considering that Livy alone answers so much in the lineup of DreamMax girls already. And the damage that she's able to provide, it can really severely hinder whatever DreamMax girls wants to do for that
feathered
upcoming...
airstrike, basically.
Yeah, for that upcoming objective fight, because there's little to no range for DreamMax girls, honestly. Like, comparing it to the feathered airstrike, comparing it to the reach of the tidal strike, it's going to be so difficult for them if they don't find the right position.
Yeah, that's a great point, because typically why we see fiercest so strong and such a priority right now with a lot of lineups is the zoning potential, the amount of damage burst that comes through. And that's not really matched by a lot of heroes, but then you consider that, okay, how do we play against it? Well, sometimes you have to wait for the feathered airstrike to be done with, or you end it, which is what we saw Day do when she's got the heart guard. But again, that's all kind of a timing thing, because you're seeing just the damage there is split. And actually, surprisingly too, even the Yakai from Navalera is being second in terms of the damage. So again, it's not every day you see an XP lane. Oh no, get out of there, Thomas!
But how?
Hero has been slain.
There's no other
That's the
way.
damage.
And how does she walk out of that? Like, I don't think, or she already probably used her first skill to reposition somehow get away from that. So she could have crossed the wall. And now this is a free Lord going into the hands of ONIC. And honestly, I feel like one of my worries heading into this game was how well are they gonna layer their skills? There's the heavy spin, which can potentially, push back some of the other members of DreamMax girls, and you want them to be in a certain spot for Yippee and Livy to actually land their skills. But it seems like there's a different purpose to the heavy spin of Navalera at this point. It's just gonna provide that additional barrier. So DreamMax girls, they definitely won't be able to go for the targets that they want to go for the pickups that they want to go for, because look at this guy just blocking every single opportunity away from DreamMax girls.
There they go, prepped up. Lord in the mid lane, DreamMax girls still quite down in terms of gold. The shields are going to be popped, so they clear out that wave, but the Lord will charge in the mid. Feathered airstrike going to be dropped down. Do they just get the turret here, but they force them back already? Are they going to be able to defend this one?
That was just the feathered airstrike and the Queller, but that was so much damage already. Now there's the Black Dragon form and the Heart Guard. They're trying their best to defend this, but they lose 2 inhibitor turrets already. Navalera might just go for the attempt, but it seems like the Tsunami Slam will be used first. Navalera falls down, however, and there's the double kill from Kami's. Blaze Kitty trying to look for the stacks. Won't be able to use that crossbow of Tang, but imagine they were already able to do that even without the crossbow of Dan.
They got at least a couple kills for DreamMax Girls. That's what they needed. They lost 2 of the base turrets, almost 3 though. And again, you know, it was ONIC just kind of deciding like, hey, can we actually end it here off this push? They kind of tested it out. Navalera also got checked a little bit. She got blasted pretty quickly. You're going to see this once again from our instant replay. The Heart Guard was there on day. They jump on in. Navalera's like, oh my goodness, they actually are starting to hurt. And that was a great petrify too. Oh, meanwhile.
Oh, there's another fight happening
Navalera?
here in mid. Navalera might not be able to escape this.
Sendo
goes in, shuts down Kamis, and the Blazing Duet from Yibi will be the follow-up, so they will be pushing through with the fight. 3 members down from DreamMax Girls. Yibi's still trying to go for it. The Heart Guard is used onto Angelus, and that will be enough to keep them alive.
I think they want to push in. They're all in the base. They have that one wave pushing down bot. They're going to clear this out. They have the mid wave pushing in as well, and DreamMax Girls will still hold on. I thought they were going to go ahead and continue on further. They're 30 seconds away from the lure to come up. But we have to quickly look at the itemization once again. There's still a big difference, at least here in the gold lane especially. But if Blaze Kitty can get that crossbow of Tang off, it can be set up for her. Again, she's only got the trinity of items that she needs, but still she's lacking that opportunity to get the airtime. That's the biggest problem here. So Lucy's got the choice of, do I use this on Blaze Kitty, for example? Do I use that Heart Guard there? Or do I always use it on Day? As this Lord is going to be taken again. Unless, oh no.
One more time though. Will they get to take down Navalera? But it seems like Angelus will be the first to fall. It's not going to be Navalera. Day's also pretty low. And Yippee with the double kill. Make it a triple actually, as he also goes for Blaze Kitty and a maniac towards Day. It's only Lucy left alone.
Here's Yippee for the Savage.
On the side of DreamMax Girls. Yippee going for the Savage and might just actually take it. The first Savage here in MWI, and ONIC secures game number 1.
And they did it through teamwork. ONIC coming out with a Savage, coming out with a victory in game 1 of the best of 3. You can see they're definitely happy about that. Once again, it just looked like, man, there was a moment that maybe DreamMax Girls could turn things around, but then they went for that fight. I almost would have said better off to just try to defend again. But unfortunately for them, maybe they had no choice. Maybe they just had to go for it and see what would happen. And unfortunately for them, they got caught in a bad situation, a bad choke point around that Lord. And they just kind of got split up and dismantled there in that fight.
I mean, who knew that there was an Akai approaching them from that angle as well? Because that's the jungler, the Retribution holder. So you would expect that at least that could be one of either 2 people holding the objective, trying to dance around it. But since they already decided to go in with the Black Dragon form and all that, and they were unaware of the angles, it's again a very great response coming in from ONIC.
Definitely a great response and a great game number 1. We're going to go ahead and throw it over to the panel back in the studio to break down game 1.
If you want to set up the standard and set yourself up as a possible brand new powerhouse in the world, you do it with a Savage. What is up with ONIC gold laners and getting Savages, huh?
That's how you rev up your engine, right? And we could definitely see the power surging through, and that's how confident they are. First game on the MWI, your first ever game here, and you get that Savage. I think it's in their blood. It's in their DNA, I think.
I mean, we've been always talking about the junglers. We've been focusing on Angelus as well as Zaf Showdown. But little do we know, here comes Yippee popping off everywhere, just doing everything that is possible that denies the movement of DreamMax Girl itself. And they couldn't do anything. Yes, you have Yuzong. You were supposed to be right on the front line. But then it was shut down completely. Angelus overextend. And that definitely gives a really good hope for the team of ONIC to just shut down DreamMax.
It totally changed the atmosphere. Their relaxed attitudes earlier, they were like all smiling after that Savage here for Yippee, and that IGN is a perfect Yippee.
Hello, it wasn't just them. We were here inside our own studio just say Yippee when she got the Savage as well. We were all for it for her.
I said something, but I think it's better off that I don't say what I yelled out. But I was happy about it. I was definitely very, very happy about it. For ONIC, well, we did say the Claude was like, at that point, a really good pickup because we've tossed up the possibilities. They could have gone Granger, they could have gone Beatrix. Seeing that there's a Yuzong on the other side, they needed something really mobile. The Claude ended up becoming a perfect pick. And that Claude, I feel like it ended up personifying what ONIC had a really good strength in for this game, which is unpredictable mobility, where they can approach from multiple angles. They don't have to fight honest MLBB. While DreamMax girls, clearly their lineup was all about honest MLBB with an Angela Fredrin at the heart of their combination with a Yuzong Kimmy. That is as honest as you can get with playing this game.
It's not much of an improvise, more on playing onto their strengths here for ONIC Indonesia, right? Especially with the Claude pick. We've mentioned you need to be very agile when it comes to a Yuzong, right? You will be hunted down each and every time, but with a Claude, you have the freedom. You have the freedom to get a savage, right? And that's what happened here for ONIC Indonesia. A new powerhouse in the making here for MWI.
And the fact that you talked about how Panda is your favorite animal and it was popping off everywhere.
Yeah.
That heavy spin was just right on time, denying every movement of DreamMax skill itself.
Wherever you are, put some respect. Put some respect on Akai's name. Every time I bring it up in MPL Philippines, you're like, nah, that guy's a little bit crazy. I mean, in this scenario though, it was perfect because it added a little bit more of chaos to counter up what DreamMax wanted to bring to the table, and it worked out very well, supplementing the rest of the team. Let's go get a magnifying glass and look a little bit closer at two specific players at a very specific role. I believe we are going to be looking at I've forgotten what I've already requested for here, I'll be honest. Okay, it was the Rovers, exactly right. Thank you.
Okay.
I got blindsided by my whole love for Akai here. Poe and Lucy, we decided we wanted to focus on this because it's the perfect contrast. On one side, you have a very active roamer who sets the tempo through aggression, while DreamMax are playing a roamer that, if you're up against a Farsa, a Kalea, it's so difficult to control the center of the map.
And that is what I think Fasha wants to point out when it comes to the question, like if you are against or pro onto the support roamers. And it really reflects onto this era or onto this game. Like you mentioned, that it is an easy target if you're like onto the support roam, right?
Yeah.
You could easily be countered versus on what ONIC Indonesia has together with the Kalea. You could have the freedom to actually set the tempo, set the clashes compared to the Angela, right?
In some ways, it feels like we actually saw an alternate universe version of the previous series, where in game number 1, you're seeing a lineup with a lot of aggression, a lot of tempo setting against a lineup that was going a little bit more defensive and counter-punchy.
I mean, the fact that we've talked about it again, is it you want to actually hold on to the same pattern that we've seen so far from the early previous games, matches of MWI, the opening itself from the start, we see that it's the signature heroes or even the metas heroes been pulled out, or even trying to peel a little bit of the triad arrow itself. But again, going back to the support hero, I'm just gonna state the fact that it's not about the trauma of the years itself, it's the fact that I'm back again after years of leaving MLBB. Here's a fun fact, okay? I left MLB for years and years. I only played for probably like 3 seasons during when they launched it, and I came back from MLB because I love it back. And the fact that I tried to play the support and I felt like, whoa, this is too aggressive. Why people hate support so much? Like, give some respect, man. But again, this is the reason why we keep on saying support is a really risky 50-50 situation.
To be fair, I feel like all those deaths in game came from respect because they knew what you brought to the table. And that's exactly what happened to the roamer of DreamMax girl there, Lucy, up against Poe. It was way too difficult. With everything that was happening with the gold lane, the roam, the mid lane rotations, it seems like one of our stars heading into this game was sort of under the radar, but she had a near perfect game. Let's look at Sev flexing off her mechanical skills.
Oh ya, anak kami.
Yeah,
Sef.
EV. Gimana man?
XEV.
Because she can play Fanny.
Because her Fanny is good.
Sujin jago or safe jago than Fanny?
I just think that I'm good, but not that good. It's just enough.
Can you show us your Fanny skills?
Oh my god, jago banget. Gacor. Makasih ya atas pujiannya guys.
Gimana?
Makasih.
Weh, Bang, putaran gas lawan.
Ini gacor banget, gak sisa dia udah bisa gantiin Kairi nih di MPL.
Udah boleh nanti kita ketemu langsung ajak Bewan Kairi.
Boleh.
Kairi hati-hati ya.
Makasih ya.
Kamu bakal ke-replace sama
Makasih ya.
Chef Yola.
Makasih ya. Iya. Makasih loh. Teman-teman.
Again, if you missed the pre-show, exactly what we were talking about there earlier with Sev, highly touted as a Fanny player. By the way, real quick, Athena pointed this out. Shout out to Oheb of Team Liquid because he was on the sticker on the back of that device that Sev was using. We don't know if that was her device, whoever it was, but they owned the Oheb sticker. Shout out to you, Oheb. But yeah, Sev, really good in Assassins, and she is highly touted.
And a huge shout out to Kyrie. Be careful. You mentioned watch out for Sev.
Yeah.
You might be replaced for the main team, right?
Yeah. Now at this point, I really hope we actually get to see a chance of her playing this Fanny. A few more bits of information are going to be showing up in your screen in just a bit so that we can get to understand this player a little bit more. One of the stars that we've described under ONIC. Real quick, actually, I'm very curious. Are there any like very wow players for you in the Malaysian Academy League that sticks in your mind as like really good at Assassins? I'm just curious.
Assassin-wise, I guess there's a lot like probably from a couple of teams that from even the grand finals and stuff, the champions. But even though the spotlight has been given to the Assassins while, but again, during that time, the patch notes was a lot for the mid laners because Kimi was rising off, popping off really, really good. But yeah, gold laner as well as the mid laner was the high and rising stars of that tournament itself.
Yeah, okay, so let's take a look at this quick quote from Sev. She mentioned here that I have terrible eyesight. I'm so sorry, Athena. Could you help me out?
Okay, according to Sev is that DreamMax Girls is not on par with Seed teams yet.
Oh.
Good luck, have fun, but keep an eye out on our gold lane.
Wait, when did she say that? She said this before the series started.
Yeah.
So it's like she manifested it about saying like, keep an eye out on our gold lane. Who got the first savage of the tournament?
Yeah, and very specific. It's like, that's not a small punch, by the way. That's a huge punt here for Sev. And actually trying to predict, watch out, we have something in store, and that is the first savage ever here for MWI.
Here's the question is, who actually set up this storyline? I mean, like, I'm questioning right now why we keep on actually doing circling around the jungles to a point that we actually left behind the gold lane. How could you guys?
I mean, I again, remember, based on what our community has said for many years, MLBB is actually scripted. You know, everything's predetermined. Of course it isn't. We're kidding. It just so happens to be that some people are really good at their jobs of analyzing the game and preparing the creative stuff, that it's just perfectly all set up. But in that regard, we would like to thank Sev for actually already setting up the gold lane savage, even though we didn't hear about it in the past.
True. And definitely that is something that we should watch out for. Their comments, their advices on what they have to say versus the teams. They're manifesting each and every lane, like watch out for a gold lane, and then we get the first ever savage for MWI. What's next, Sev? What can you predict more?
Okay, wait. I kind of like have an realization. I think I was actually being denied, or should I say, I kind of mental block all the memories, and this is not giving justice to the question that you gave me, Renma. How dare I forget the MVP of my MAL? He was the jungler of CG Esports. Gary was amazing. He was doing well, and especially additional into CG Esports as well, especially the fact that they just rebuilt themselves and they have additional import players from Indonesia as well. So it proves that the fact that yes, not only the rest of the players are circling around the mid laners, which is Chiku guys, but Gary was popping off as the MVP of the tournament itself.
Yeah, and then to take that storyline of a team like rebuilding around a certain piece, we of course clearly we got to see that in DreamMax, but I think what sort of flew under the radars here, that it's also somewhat the story of this ONIC squad, because they had to find a management and fight for their spot to say, hey, we all want to play together. We've experienced here and there being able to play together in different aspects of the game, different tournaments, different teams all throughout the years. Please, can you get us under one organization so we can form a team? That's the story of ONIC.
And that's how you build a powerhouse, right? The trust and, of course, the support is really important here for them to be able to somewhat create this super team for ONIC Indonesia. And talking about the Fanny as well, I am looking forward. She already predicted that they should watch out for the gold lane here for ONIC Indo. I'm looking forward to her playing the Fanny if she's that confident, right?
She's not gonna get it.
Nah.
DreamMax said no.
Yeah,
DreamMax literally
like,
say like,
Athena,
no, Fanny.
Stop. Just stop.
They literally saw the previous highlight clip. But of course, I just want to say a quick shout out to Coach Secretaria of DMX. She is one of the most decorated female coaches in the history of our game. Through her participation and experience coaching the men's team, some of the best men's teams in Latin America. So she's coached in MSC, one or two M series if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, Coach Secretaria is okay, so if Louise is the roaming goat, she's one of the greatest of all time coaches from that region. So her banning out these assassins and then first picking the Uranus shows that.
Okay. The day is not yet ending. I was just saying earlier that I have seen a Uranus for like 7 or 6 games in total. But now you've mentioned a well-decorated coach. They planned ahead onto the bans, and finally Uranus here for their second game.
I think DreamMax has to think ahead here though and consider that a carry might be popping up for ONIC much later. So ONIC are going to be looking to dish out some, make sure that they have good sources of burst. They pick up the Joy 5.
I mean, it's the fact that they put out Uranus, and we saw already the first-hand experience whereby Uranus was top priority of MSC wildcards, right? And it was really efficient enough. It was really good to be put out into the hero pools as well. Now, question is, coming into the respawn of ONIC itself, Joy being picked up as the respawn, as well as Zetian. And we know for a fact Zetian has a really good CC, that ulti, the Fury of the Phoenix itself can stun a little bit, and probably it could actually help the movement of Joy itself. Now, the question is, the team of DreamMax Girl, what can they do to hold out a little bit of the movement of ONIC itself?
Yeah, there is a lot of movement, good source of crowd map control, me, through multiple avenues. So let's see if DreamMax can answer that right away. They pick up the Juicin into the Joy, and they pick up the Cho. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of pairing up the Cho with the Juicin if you're looking to get pickoffs. However, the Cho and the Juicin does provide a lot of crowd control, Athena.
Yeah, and actually the Cho is actually a good counter against a Zetian. If you guys remember, you could just pop up the Shunpu and pop up the passive here for Zetian. Just a walkthrough, literally hit and run, and that's it. But I do agree on a certain degree on the pick here together with the Jushin, especially they already had the Uranus, right? But for GMAX, maybe we just have to trust the process here. What's the thought process here for Coach Secretaria? But I do believe that they need somewhat of a shredder, because the carry could easily be picked off here by ONIC Indonesia.
Yeah, if ONIC doesn't show up their gold laner, oh no, they picked up the carry.
Yeah,
that's exactly it. What I was talking about with the carry, and ONIC perfect pick at third, because I was thinking DreamMax might have just banned the Claude and carry in the second phase. So fantastic call here by ONIC.
No, I mean, like, it's perfect. The fact that they pick it off straight the goal laner, and now they're gonna say like, I have already goal laner, now I'm gonna cut off even more goal laner so that you don't even have any questions or even the choices to get the goal laner for yourself.
Yeah.
Look at that. Even Harith had been seen taken off from the side of Team ONIC. Oh, crazy.
Yeah, at this point, I think DreamMax has to accept they're probably gonna be stuck with an Irithel.
Yeah.
Because Granger into the Joy, into the Zetian, you don't even see the frontliners just yet. That even if DreamMax decides to pick up Granger later on, whatever the last pick of ONIC might just give that an even harder time. So I think the safest pick right now for DreamMax is Irithel.
Yeah, I do agree with you. In a certain degree, they have to have that mobility onto the gold game, especially if you're up against, earlier with a Savage play. You would want some kind of an advantage. But speaking of which, for ONIC Indonesia, they are right onto picking off that carry as soon as possible, because it is the next move here for Coach Secretaria if ever they just went in ahead and pick up another role. But Kalea being banned out here for DreamMax Girls and Esmeralda.
Good old boring past matchup of your Uranus and Esmeralda. Yes, that is the community thing. When you get Uranus and Esmeralda in the same game, in the same lane, they are stuck there forever.
Like, it's that around 3 years ago, 4 years ago.
Oh yeah, it's been 4 years. I've been doing this too long.
I don't want to reveal my age. Oh, we're just doing it last year. I just saw
Age is just a number, by the way.
Oh, but the number right now, they need the number here for
through my
DreamMax
scope.
girls. Currently on a 0-1.
Oh, whoa.
Wait.
What, Leslie?
You're gonna pick a Leslie into Joy? Interesting.
I love it.
I mean, they desperately needed damage. They were desperately lacking burst.
Okay.
But I did not expect a Leslie.
Okay, I know for a fact that after the patch note, Leslie has been upgraded, have been buffed for the range itself. Yes, it's much more distance. You have like a really good sniper with a long range shot. But the question is it enough though? The fact that you're still going on all out for just one single lane or one single target for yourself, and you have to be very wary of your positioning yourself. But on the other note, they did pick off Chi-Chi as well on their own pickoff. And now, looking on their side, yeah, they have the answer. The question is it enough though?
Are they just gonna end up picking a Gacha for Rome, or?
I'm still looking at this Leslie, by the way. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, like, I'm so shocked.
Oh, Kaja!
I wish I said it.
What a day!
Yeah.
Day!
I mean, we got our wish. We wanted some more unique picks. Real quick, thoughts on this Kaja, Fasha?
I think it's going to be a great game. If ever, we could see a potential game 3.
Yes, definitely. I mean, lovely answers from both sides. So looking forward to see what it's going to be like.
All right, we're shocked here. Brigida, Naisu, are you guys shocked? Are you surprised? I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear your voices.
That was so... You can hear our voices now, right? I mean, I think we are equally as shocked with the draft here. Brigida, any thoughts? I mean, did you think you were going to see a Leslie on day one of the MWI?
Not at all. I mean, I rarely see the Leslie, even in the off-season tournaments that we've been having. Even in, I'd say, the collegiate level or ever. Right? Like,
when was the last time you really saw Leslie?
I can't recall, honestly. And I echo the exact same sentiments, or we could probably even add more to what our panelists already mentioned. The lineup right now that we're seeing from DreamMax girls are either very single target, the Cho and the Leslie, and you compare the Leslie, right? If you want immediate burst damage to follow up the Way of the Dragon and all that.
Yeah, the Leslie provides you pretty, I mean, in a way, some vision with the ultimate snipe ultimate, but then also, you know, you get some of that extra damage with the her lethal shot, right? That passive that she gets too. So there's actually a really interesting way that it could work with the Cho, but at the same time, as we get to look at the emblems here, really, again, nothing too much in the XP lane. That's what we used to call the eternal battle, basically, with the Uranus and the Esmeralda fighting it out. But nonetheless, I think a big part of this is really like, how do you actually allow Blaze Kitty to get online and use this pick that is able like to pump out a ton of damage, but just doesn't have the same, I would say, throughput later on in the game. If this ends up being a later game, then something that can happen here is, yeah, she's popping off damage using the camouflage and everything else, but you also got to be really reliant because, I mean, you look at the lineup here alone from ONIC, there's a lot of options to just get Blaze Kitty down. And if you take one of the members that is supposed to help heal for her or protect her in a way, and that's what the Kaja does. I mean, again, the Divine Judgment ultimate to grab someone is great here. So Pow's even got to wait for her level 4. Sev is going to be jumping in, though.
And in as early as now, Sev will attempt to go for a member of DreamMax girls, but was forced to run away because the damage of 4 members of the Cho, the Jushis, the CC combined seems like they're somehow enough, but now it's Navalera who might just be in danger. Yes, Esmeralda might be the first to fall, and now Angelus pretty much got the entire turtle pit to herself.
Yeah, I think ONIC is even like kind of surprised themselves, like, man, this is quite a bit of damage, quite a bit of damage that we're taking, because I think that plan there was maybe also to stall it out so that they could have re-engaged into the fight, but nonetheless, DreamMax girls will get the first objective pretty cleanly. So they get that turtle. They can work around this once again. No kills just yet on the board. These are both lineups that are very pick-off centric. Pao needs that Divine Judgment level 4 on the Kaja. Lucy needed that level 4 here, that Way of the Dragon, even on the Cho. So once those are both available, expect to see both teams go for some engagement or to try to get a pick off here.
Yeah, but for the meantime, it's really DreamMax girls just allowing Blaze Kitty, who based on the lineup itself, does really seem like the funnel, quote-unquote, of DreamMax girls, which is why we raised these concerns of how ONIC, their lineup, it seems like it's built to capture Blaze Kitty in multiple ways, be it through the Divine Judgment of the Flicker, or just simply diving into backlines, or even Amelia eventually later on if he does get, or if she does get some items already, because this seems to be a lethal ignition Esmeralda.
Yeah.
So I'm not entirely sure if she will be going hybrid or, you know, like putting in a little bit of damage here and there. That will be another huge problem for DreamMax girls if ever that is going to be the case. And now it seems like they want to go after her, but there's the Fury of the Phoenix stunning 3 members. Divine Judgment committed onto Camis as well, but the first blood is going to be Lucy. Will they have enough damage to take down Camis? It seems like it's a no, but Steph says no too. Day and Angelus, they're the 2 tanky members left, and they get to trade out Sev for that too.
Yeah, I guess, you know, again, I have to correct myself because I was so surprised with the lineup earlier on that I was just automatically thinking, yeah, Uranus versus Esmeralda in the XP lane. But yeah, it's a jungle Uranus, and you know, our panel kind of mentioned that too, and the possibility. And I think that's why the swerve came through. So we have seen before where that Uranus in the jungle is actually quite a nuisance to deal with, because yeah, you still have that very innate tankiness you can deal with. Oh, is this going to be a kick?
Oh, look at the layer of crowd control, and Navalera couldn't do anything. So this is probably another angle we can look at. If it's not just entirely the setups that DreamMax girls wants to do, it's these layers of crowd control that'll help them protect Blaze Kitty from danger. That's the Cheat Kundo, that's the Lantern Flare. So as long as you can keep Blaze Kitty out of danger, then she'll be able to throw out those lethal shots, or again, if we get to the late game, that immense amount of damage that will cause a huge problem to ONIC later on.
Yeah, that's one thing that Leslie definitely is. Lucy's going to go for the kick, not the angle though that she was looking for. Camus jumps in too with the beacon, so not engaged they were looking for, but Navalera's going to be taken out on the bottom side of the map.
How often do you see the Uranus Esmeralda matchup being this action-packed? I mean, there was another member though.
Maybe this was the change. Put Uranus in the jungle? It's a little more exciting, maybe.
And this adds to the entire idea of them just revolving around Blaze Kitty again, right? Which I think so far is working pretty well for DreamMax girls, because ONIC at this point, they're not able to put that much attention just yet to Blaze Kitty because of how much Angelus just keeps disrupting or disturbing them in whatever they want to do, even in simply wanting to farm if you're Sev. Like, DreamMax girls, it just seems like they're everywhere.
Yeah, I guess this is one of the things too. You're gonna look, she's slightly ahead in the gold lane. Nonetheless, Yippie's done a pretty good job at not getting zoned out, not getting pushed out from the waves. They might go to play here on Day, it looks like. I'm not sure if they're actually gonna commit to this. Again, Divine Judgment, we're always gonna watch out for that from Poe here. So no Divine Judgment gonna be used. The turret nearly being worked on and going down. Yippie will stay here, and that's the thing. The biggest, I guess, difference between that Leslie and then the carry difference here. Yeah. Hold on, Conceal's going to be used. I think they're just going to force Day off. So turret secured. First one of the game for ONIC. And an objective traded. So they're trading a lot macro-wise on the map. So it's Turtle. They pop the Conceal. They actually gonna go for a fight here. Blazing Kitty, right there.
Oh, the trades are coming here and there, but Poe gets to look for the setup, Lucy, but also immediately denied. It's Lucy who falls down first instead. ONIC still trying to fight, but they will no longer proceed. DreamMax girls, they're somehow actually making this work.
They're making it work. A trade, the 1-for-1 roamers that are in that exchange, but also Blaze Kitty picks up a Malefic Gun. So the range that is there, as I was going to talk about the comparison earlier on against the carry, is the range that comes with a Leslie. Oh. You get some of that extra damage, some of that true damage, but then you get the little extra range now with the Malefic Gun. So they'll have to kind of play into that. It might be a little difficult for Yippie to work around some of these team fights later on, but ultimately you just got to kind of keep her safe using the Divine Judgment if that happens. And they're going to do as much as they can holding on to these tier 1 turrets. Oh. The Lord's going to be up in about a minute from here.
Yeah, the way it's looking, ONIC have too much to deal with
there's a whole lot to deal with, yeah.
Like, surprisingly, even though the Leslie was a huge surprise, they have to worry about Angelus, who at this point doesn't care even if she throws herself right in front of the members of ONIC, because like, so long as Yippee isn't there, and Yippee with the Corrosion Scythe and the Golden Staff at this point, they can potentially still get away. Like, there's the Consecration, there's her other teammates who can keep her safe. So now it feels like all these answers we thought were there for ONIC to deal with Blaze Kitty, they might struggle to actually utilize them considering the amount of pressure coming in from DreamMax Girls, but Paul gets to find Blaze Kitty! And speaking of the answer, they get immediately denied of whatever intentions they had. They took out the damage dealer right on the get-go from DreamMax Girls.
Oh, and talk about the timing as the Lord has just come up after that whole kill sequence happens. Yippee getting a double. And that's going to give them the green light to take this Lord, unless DreamMax Girls want to do something about it. They're going to try to get a position, but this is a huge risk.
Whoa, the damage, the vengeance, it actually hurts. Navalera is down 7 next, and it seems like the Lord will still go into the hands of ONIC. Yippee trying to take down the targets. Camis is next, but the Lantern Flare makes it. It's a shutdown for her. A double kill for Camis. Does Livy still want to go for this?
Camis is going.
She's not going to stop, and it's a disengage for ONIC.
Oh, a little messy, but the job is done. The Lord was secured by ONIC, but DreamMax Girls get a whole lot in the exchange as they get another turret down. Blaze Kitty joined the fight just in time to fight back. So they'll go back to this. They'll have to deal with the Lord that's pushing in, but nonetheless, they have the lead. Let's take a look at the instant replay here. Once again, this fight broke out after Yippee got a double. They still have to remember how much damage can come through this DreamMax Girl lineup. Even the Lord knocking them up into the air, the flares bringing them back towards that pit. And yes, the Lord was gotten by Livy, but here comes Blaze Kitty to join this fight and turn things around.
Yeah.
Oh, fight again.
Oh, wait, it's Poe who gets taken out first. Yippee still throwing out those shurikens. Kamis will try to go for Yippee, but the damage is not going to be enough, and it's a shutdown for her. 2 members of DreamMax Girls are left, and the Lord is still up.
The Lord is still up. A fight that maybe they didn't want to have. We didn't get to see how it started up, but nonetheless, ONIC in control. Lord still making its way. Tier 2 in the bottom is going to fall. Mid, the next focus as Blaze Kitty tries to just go ahead and defend this with Angelus, but look at the poking.
Oh, that's too much damage. Angelus immediately shredded down by Yippee. Hold on, they gotta block the ultimate snipe, and they somehow get away, but that exposed all of their inhibitor turrets already.
A tough one here, DreamMax Girls. Yes, they hold on to the base turrets. The shields are still up too, but ONIC still found something in that whole exchange. You know, even with that Lord going in, and still look at this, the damage done and the damage taken by both teams here are quite one-sided. But then when you look at the damage done from Yippee alone, it's kind of crazy to think, because the trying to take down some of these members on a carry who has a little bit of a shorter range to work with, it's pretty impressive to see that positioning. I mean, looking at the items that she has, she just recently picked up the Malefic Gun as well. So that helps with the range that this carry does lack. A concealed flank going to be used. Right, pushing under the turret. I'm not sure if they're going to go for the pull here on Day.
Curtain call committed onto Poe and Yippee. It seems like they're not going to risk this. It's too dangerous.
Here's a response.
Sev has information of wherever ONIC's going to come from, but they still take them by surprise. Lucy's the first to fall. Blaze Kitty is gone as well. And now they successfully take down 2 members. The pressure is still on for ONIC.
That was such a good time to wait for the Fury of the Phoenix to pop off, and then Sev enters to find the right mark on Blaze Kitty. The turrets are going to fall now in the top lane. They might look to get the mid too. Rest of the DreamMax Girls are up, but they could also go for the Lord after they get this, but they just want to take these turrets down. They still got to respect it. It's just a couple seconds. They'll be back to full force here for DreamMax Girls, but the Lord will be the focus now from ONIC here.
It's terrifying to think that even the brief stun, the brief time that you get from the falling Star Moon is enough to bring some of the members of DreamMax Girls down to half HP if Yippee does supplement the necessary damage. That's just how much damage they already have in the hands of Yippee, who, by the way, is currently 7-1-3.
Yeah.
Also reminding everyone, in case you just got here, that she got the first Savage earlier in game number 1.
On a Claude.
On a Claude, so the momentum's definitely there and you can feel it. Now DreamMax girls, who we thought were sort of ahead, are now forced to defend, and their lineup might not be best suited for this kind of situation. Angelis gets shredded down. They're doing their best. They're doing so much just to defend this inhibitor turret.
Last item for Yippee 2, Rose Gold Girl, as she picks that up. So she's got the Rose Gold now for a little bit of defense, because she's got to deal with it. You know, she's got to deal with a lot of the magic damage being shot out here. Mid lane, though.
Look at the damage in Camus. The one who potentially extended the team by 10 again and again is now taken out right before the Lord approaches the base.
Oh, they're going to have to defend this. 2 members down. It's only 3 for DreamMax girls. Will they be able to stay against the full force here from ONIC?
They're gonna try and defend, but the other members are just locked on taking down the base. Yippee puts an end to this series, and we complete an entire day of sweeps.
Day 1 full of sweeps here at MWI and EWC. Dominant performances, but also some close games here and there. And we also got a Savage here. I don't even know what all happened on Stream B, but I'll tell you, Stream A was definitely a great start to the days that we have here ahead of us. Now, ONIC from Indonesia can be